they carved a mark every time she refused. Each one a testament to her unbroken will. The scars are thin, precise, deliberate. I stopped counting after 92, she told me, her voice steady. A stark contrast to the violent history etched into her skin. 92 times, she said no. 92 times, she chose defiance over submission. 92 times, she endured the unimaginable, refusing to let them break her spirit. This isn't just a story about scars. It's a story about the profound strength of the human soul. Her name is Alara, and her story begins in a place where hope was a currency more valuable than gold, and just as scarce. She was young, full of dreams, living in a village nestled between rolling hills. Life was simple, predictable, until the day the shadows fell. Men with hardened faces and hollow eyes swept through her home, their presence a suffocating cloud of fear. They weren't just invaders, they were architects of despair, intent on dismantling every piece of her world, starting with her will. The first time they demanded she bend to their authority, a simple no escaped her lips. It was quiet, almost a whisper, but it echoed with the force of a thunderclap in the oppressive silence. That was the first mark, a sharp, stinging line that was meant to be a lesson, a warning. But for Alara, it became a symbol, not of pain, but of her first victory. Shu looked at the fresh wound not with tears, but with a dawning realization. Her body might be a canvas for their cruelty, but her spirit was a fortress they could never breach. The days blurred into a nightmarish routine. Each refusal was met with the cold, calculated precision of a blade. They wanted her to serve them, to obey, to become one of them in spirit, if not in form. But, with every new scar, her resolve hardened. The marks became her armor. She started to see them not as blemishes of her suffering, but as a diary of her resistance. Each line told a story. This one was for refusing to carry their weapons. That one, for sharing her meager rations with another captive. Another, for daring to sing a song of her homeland in the dead of night. They thought they were marking me as their property, she explained, tracing one of the faint silvery lines on her arm. But with each cut, I was marking myself as my own. I was claiming ownership of my pain, turning it into power. It's a staggering concept, isn't it? To find strength in the very instruments of your oppression. But that's the core of Elaro's story. Shu wasn't a passive victim. She was an active combatant in a war waged on her own body. Imagine the mental fortitude required. To wake up each day, knowing that your defiance would be met with physical pain, and still choosing to say no. It wasn't about a grand public rebellion. It was about the quiet, personal integrity that she refused to sacrifice. She told me about the others, the ones who succumbed, their eyes growing vacant, their spirits extinguished. She didn't judge them. She understood the crushing weight of their despair. But for her, giving in would have been a fate worse than any cut. It would have been the death of her soul. Her 90-second refusal was different. It was the day she fought back. Not with a weapon, but with her words. She stood before the leader, her body a roadmap of Gijich cruelty, and she spoke. She didn't scream or cry. She spoke of her home, of the sun on the hills, of the taste of fresh water. She spoke of dignity, of choice, and of a spirit that could not be carved away. Her words, calm and clear, were more piercing than any blade. They saw in her eyes not fear, but an unshakable peace. And in that moment, they saw their own failure. They had marked her body, but they had never touched her soul. Shortly after, a shift in the conflict led to their retreat. She was left, not broken, but remade. The scars remained, a permanent record of her ordeal. For years, she hid them, ashamed of what they represented. The world saw them as signs of victorhood, but true healing began when she changed her own perspective. She began to see them as her medals of honor. Look, she said, holding her arm out in the light. This isn't a story of what was done to me. This is the story of what I refused to let them do. This is the story of my 92 victories. She chose to reclaim the narrative, to define herself not by her trauma, but by her resilience. She transformed the symbols of her pain into a source of immense pride and strength. Today, Elara helps others who have survived deep trauma. She teaches them to find the 92 reasons within themselves. Shoes. Says them that scars, whether visible or invisible, are not the end of their story. They are the beginning of a new chapter, one written with courage and an unbreakable will to live. Her own skin is a testament that you can endure the unimaginable and not just survive, but emerge with a spirit more whole and more powerful than before. Lara's story is a profound reminder that true strength is about the absence of fear or pain. It's about what you do in its presence. It's about the quiet no that rings louder than any threat. It's about understanding that no one can take your inner freedom unless you give it to them. Her 92 scars are not a tally of her suffering. They are the measure of her courage, too. Thank you so much for listening to this incredible story of resilience. If Ilara's journey moved you, please save this video. Courage like hers deserves to be remembered and shared. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more stories that inspire and empower. We'll see you in the next one.